Hello and welcome to Carved in Stone. I'm your host, Shawn Chabam, and this episode is not for you landlubbers, because today I will be giving you my Mount Rushmore of seafood. Heads up before I get very far. I could have named this my Mount Rushmore of shellfish. I'm not a fan of fishy fish. You're not going to see things like salmon, flounder, mahi mahi, or tuna. I am a shellfish fan when it comes to seafood, and that's really it. I still think the title's fair because shellfish are seafood, and all of the aforementioned foods are eligible, they just aren't on the mountain. Let's get to it. First up, crabs. I love lots of different kinds of crabs. Stone crab, Dungeness crab, Alaskan king crab. My absolute favorite, though, has to be snow crab. If I see snow crab legs on a menu, price tends to become irrelevant. They are so tasty. Eating crabs takes some effort, but I don't mind. I think I usually would say I don't want to work to eat. I work enough at the grind, but crabs don't bother me. When you bust a shell open and get a big, thick piece of crab meat, it all becomes worth it. It's so satisfying, not to mention delicious. So many great things crab makes: crab dip, crab cakes. I admit it's nice to have the crab already out for you in those dishes, assuming they've been prepared by someone who properly disposed of all the shells. The only kind of crab I can think of that I've never tried is soft shell. The idea of eating the shell freaks me out a little. I'm not saying I'll never try it, I'm just not in a rush to do so. Crabs were a staple of my childhood summers. All the older men in my family, meaning my dad and uncles, who I'm now the same age as they were at the time, would sit on the back porch and eat from noon until 1 or 2 the next morning with a bushel or two of crabs. However long it took them, they would not stop until they were all gone. The Phillies would provide the soundtrack for a couple hours, and this was before the days of the pitch clock, limited pickoff plays, or that stupid runner on second in extra innings rule, so there was really no telling how long a game might last back then. Next up, lobster. I prefer crab over lobster, but both are delicious. Lobster is typically priced much higher. I love dipping some lobster in a big bowl of melted butter. Lobster rolls are great. I had to have one of those the last time I was in Maine because when in Rome, right? I always think about the Seinfeld episode with man hands when I eat lobster. Jerry's girlfriend had man hands and would open up beer bottles with her hands even if they weren't twist offs. There's a great visual of her just demolishing a lobster as she cracks it open. It wasn't the actual actress's real hands. You know, it's crazy. I was a huge Seinfeld fan, and I was also a fan of the show True Blood. And I only learned maybe 5 months ago that Kristen Bauer, who played Pam on True Blood, also guest starred in Seinfeld as Jillian, aka Manhands. Back to seafood, though, which is what this episode is about, not Seinfeld. Not that there's anything wrong with the show about nothing. The next reveal on the Mount Rushmore of seafood is shrimp. I don't enjoy cooking shrimp because I always overdo it, but eating shrimp is great. If I find a restaurant offering endless shrimp, I know where I'm going for dinner. It's funny, I don't like coconut very much. Samoa's, for example, the coconut cookies are the only Girl Scout cookies I don't like. I hate coconut shavings on baked goods, but I freaking love coconut shrimp. And plenty of other kinds of shrimp, too. I can't off the top of my head think of a flavor of shrimp that I won't eat. They go great in a variety of dishes. I love me some shrimp fajitas. usually steak and shrimp fajitas. Shrimp scampi is yummy. My favorite sushi is a shrimp tempura roll. I was previously not big on sushi. Even now, I need the right kind. You're usually not going to catch me eating sushi without shrimp, lobster, or crab in it. But shrimp tempura rolls were actually what kickstarted my taste for any kind of sushi. They are great. I don't like dipping shrimp in cocktail sauce, and I very much prefer shrimp hot rather than cold, although I will eat it prepared either way. I'll eat more of it if it's hot. Last on my Mount Rushmore of seafood, all of which are shellfish, scallops. Scallops are tasty as heck. Let me tell you about the best scallops I've ever had. I'd say they were part of the best overall meal I've ever had. Las Vegas, Nevada, Gordon Ramsay Hell's Kitchen. Part of the prefixed menu, it was the appetizer to beef Wellington as the main course. Everything, including the scallops, was absolutely divine. I'm not a gambler, so Vegas isn't exactly my city for its stereotypical reasons. On that trip, my highlights were going to see a comedy show with Nate Bargatze, a movie at the Sphere, a day trip to the Grand Canyon, and eating that meal, including the scallops, at Hell's Kitchen. That meal with the appetizer would be one of my biggest reasons to return to Sin City. Two honorable mentions before we part ways today: calamari and clams. Calamari is another good seafood appetizer. Not quite Hell's Kitchen's scallops, but good nonetheless. I will not eat calamari with the heads on them. If you ever share a plate of calamari with me, those are yours. You can tell me all day long that they taste the same. I don't care. They look weird. The heads freak me out. Clams don't quite ascend the mountain because I usually don't eat clams on their own. I love them in clam chowder, which is the reason I mention them at all on this episode. I prefer New England clam chowder, but I like Manhattan as well. I know a lot of people who don't like the Manhattan. I think both are good, but in my opinion, New England is definitely the superior soup. All right, take your bibs off. The seafood Mount Rushmore is now in the past. To review my Mount Rushmore of seafood, all of which happen to be shellfish, crabs, lobster, shrimp, and scallops. Thanks for joining me. Sorry if you're allergic to shellfish. You probably stopped watching a while ago if you are, but again, sorry if that allergy does pertain to you because shellfish are awesome. Thank you as always for joining me. I will see you next time. Go Birds.